Now you're probably wondering what the heck is going on with Yellowstone, since there are strikes, possible schedule disputes with Kevin Costner, and so many rumored spin-offs and sequels that anyone would be confused. Well, be confused no longer, because these are all the facts you need to know about on what's going on with Yellowstone, including the future of the franchise and an explanation of the changes ahead. So stick around and let's dive in. Now you might have heard some things about a number of developments that are taking place in the world of Yellowstone, as well as its numerous prequel and spin-off series, which will no doubt have an impact on the franchise's future. In 2018, the first season of the original series quickly found success in large part due to Kevin Costner's portrayal of Montana rancher John Dutton. Costner is considered to still be a bankable star, and fans tuned in initially to see what he was up to in the show. But it didn't end there, as we know, because co-creator Taylor Sheridan, who has a number of successful projects behind him already, has decided that there will be more and more added to the universe of Yellowstone, as well as there being a number of significant alterations to the Yellowstone world. Sheridan and his Yellowstone crew revealed that they will definitely be making some changes to the universe that will mark significant growth opportunities for the franchise. As you probably know, Yellowstone is going to come to its end later in this year as the second half of the fifth season debuts in November 2023. But if you are missing your Dutton fix, there are already two prequel series available on streaming entitled 1883 and 1923, as well as another spin-off series titled Four Sixes that will premiere early next year. Yellowstone is extremely popular among audiences for its earnest portrayal of the rugged, legendary American Western landscapes. The callback to eras like the Old West. It's just in their blood. Thanks to the high quality of the product, several A-list celebrities have been eager to enter the universe, including Helen Mirren, Sam Elliott, and of course Harrison Ford. This is a universe that will be carried well, different though it may be after 2023. Season 5 is the finale. Kevin Costner rocked the Yellowstone boat earlier this year when he announced that he would officially leave the show after the fifth season. This was followed shortly when Taylor Sheridan and Paramount, who own the franchise, confirmed that the show would end after the end of Season 5. Many people had hoped this would not be the end for John Dutton, who continues to be considered the main protagonist of the show and a major part of why viewers tune in. However, and you might not want to hear this, but Costner had already said before Yellowstone Season 5 even began shooting that he would be happier spending less time on set. The man has already had a revered career and is moving further into directorship rather than acting. And so he told Sheridan and the production team that he could only grant 65 days to the production of Season 5, though he later reduced even that number to just 50, as was reported by Deadline. Paramount attempted to negotiate with Costner in order to facilitate his intended schedule, but even after production wrapped on Season 5 Part 1, Costner stated that he would only like to shoot for a total of 10 days to wrap the entire show. Now that is a pretty tall order, and it only gets worse when you consider that Costner is also prepared not to return at all for the ending of the show. Actors are well known for making unreachable demands, but this is almost unheard of. As for the man himself, he is currently focused entirely on a personal project called Horizon, one which centers on the American Civil War and will likely lead to multiple sequels, at least if left to Connor's decision. Sheridan and Costner have yet to reach any kind of compromise on the matter, which could have a serious impact on the manner in which Dutton goes out of the show, and it doesn't help that Costner is already making $1 million an episode for Season 5 Part 1. Which is kind of the rate enjoyed by only those actors who are vital to a show's continued success. Matthew McConaughey steps in. The conclusion of the Costner-led Yellowstone era was announced along with the confirmation of a Matthew McConaughey-led successor series. The new original series, which Sheridan will write, especially for McConaughey in a new role, will be set after the events of Yellowstone Season 5. Depending on how long the current Writers Guild strike lasts, the project's anticipated release date could be as soon as the end of 2023. It currently has no title. Costner's replacement on the original Yellowstone series was reported to be McConaughey, but Sheridan and his production team chose to start again with a brand new series so as not to muddy the waters. Now, not much is known about McConaughey's character in Yellowstone, but it is anticipated that he will continue the story after Yellowstone Season 5 stops. To provide a smooth transition from one season to the next, this might mean that McConaughey will appear in Yellowstone's final 6 episodes, but nothing has yet to be confirmed. Now, it is unclear at the moment how the untitled Yellowstone sequel will fit into the original series timeline, or whether there will be any overlap at all. Now that Costner's unavailability may have a significant impact on what happens to the Duttons and how Yellowstone ends, there is no clue what could happen in the end of the celebrated show. 1923 Season 2 is another finale. The second prequel series in the ingenious universe of Yellowstone 1923 debuted in 2022. Celebrity authority from Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren propelled the series into extremely high regard from critics and audiences alike. As you no doubt are aware, Yellowstone's prologue 1923 provides further background on the Dutton family, just as 1883 showed their origins, as 1923 is a continuation of the events shown in the 1883 prequel series after all. The Yellowstone spinoff will officially come to an end in 1923 Season 2, which was the initial plan when the series was first conceived, since the 2021 premiere of 1883 only lasted for one 10-episode season. The termination of 1923 after 2 seasons is not exactly something of a shock for fans. Sheridan doesn't intend to dwell too long on these ancillary characters. When 1923 launched, it broke records for Paramount Plus for a brand new show, though it didn't hurt that it was a spinoff. Still, 7 million viewers on the first episode is big for any streaming service. Season 2 has no premiere date confirmed yet, but many insiders expect that it will launch either late this year or in early 2024. The entire cast will be returning to the show as well, besides just Ford and Mirren reprising their lead roles of Jacob and Cara Dutton. The show will mark an end to their portion of the story and likely set up the events that will lead to the main show's beginning. Of course, there is still another 95-year gap that can be filled with some future projects. Anything else? Apart from the continuation of the story through their rumored McConaughey series, there are some other spin-offs in the works within the Yellowverse, and many are set to release sooner than you'd think. The show 4 Sixes will take place at the historic ranch of the same name, an actual property that was acquired by Sheridan. The story will likely follow Jimmy from Yellowstone, who opted to stay there after being sent there by John Dutton. There will be many scenes shot on the premises for the final scenes of Yellowstone 2, as per Sheridan anyway. The 4 Sixes show will spin off Yellowstone very quickly. But that's not all, so don't you go getting hungry for even more Yellowstone, as another show set to premiere this year is called Bass Reeves. The miniseries will spin off from the events of 1883 and will be heavily inspired by the events of that show. However, it should definitely not be considered a sequel to 1883. David Oyelowo, who is set to star as the historic Bass Reeves, was the first black United States Deputy Marshal serving west of the Mississippi. It's interesting history since most people are unaware of such high-profile black lives in the 19th century. There will likely be some small connections between the show and the Dutton story, but there will only be a few, as it is more of an attempt to expand the Wild West universe that Sheridan seems to be focusing on. So don't get scared, there are many offerings yet to come from Taylor Sheridan and the Yellowstone universe. So even if you are worried about the ending of Yellowstone itself or are concerned about the goings-on between Costner and Sheridan, you can still hold out hope for more top-notch entertainment, whether set after the show, before the show, or even besides the show. Taylor Sheridan has proven to be a force for quality entertainment in a world rapidly declining in such wonder, and that's not going to end anytime soon. Perhaps McConaughey's show will come to fruition and be even better than Yellowstone. Who knows? But if there are any rumblings on the future of the shared universe of Yellowstone, you can guarantee that we'll let you know the second that we hear about them.